All right, to this now. COVID-19 has had a massive impact on us. It's changed the way we work, learn, worship, and socialize. For many, it's also meant increased time spent on devices. Experts believe this can exacerbate an attention deficit disorders. Well, let's discuss this with Renata Skuman from the South African Society of Psychiatrists as we mark ADHD Day. Renata, thank you for your time. So, there's a strong focus on, and I suppose we've had enough time to gather the evidence around what the impact is of prolonged times spent in front of devices, which many children unfortunately have had to do because of, the move to remote learning and online learning. What is the data showing us around the impact around attention deficit disorders?
So just for a start, it is estimated that our screen time has increased by up to 80% over the past year. And in some of the overseas studies, it seems like the diagnosis of ADHD has increased with 27%. Now, we do not have exact data in terms of an increase in prevalence of ADHD in South Africa. Although what we find in clinical practice, it's not new ADHD. It's more that people are presenting with symptoms that is similar to ADHD. And those that's already diagnosed with ADHD, their symptoms are worsening. And then thirdly, the circumstances, working from home and being maybe more involved in your children's schooling on a day-to-day basis and the homework in the afternoons might have brought symptoms to your attention that previously maybe only the class teacher was complaining about. That together with the excessive screen time, which we know can aggravate attention, it can decrease memory and learning, it can interfere with your sleep, it causes inactivity and increase in weight. All of those together have a detrimental impact to both your physical and your mental health.
Is it like that because it requires, added attention to spend that much time engaged in classroom activity? My impression, having observed my own children, is that it takes a bit more attention and a bit more, just remaining focused when you're doing it remotely and online as opposed to in a classroom environment where I imagine that the stimulation to keep on concentrating may be slightly better.
It is interesting because it definitely differs from child to child and adult to adult. Some individuals with ADHD actually find working online better. They can hyperfocus. There's maybe less distractions working on your own in a room if you have that privilege. And also, sometimes in a classroom, there's more distractions and they're very anxious because they struggle with the social interaction, especially the children. So we see children that's doing much better online if they have a good environment at home and the correct facilities. At the same time, many children and adults struggle more when working from home or schooling from home. One is due to not having adequate resources, but secondly, for someone with ADHD, creating structure is actually very, very difficult. So if there's not a good routine in place, that is when we see that they really battle to keep up with the academic work. And then we don't even consider the negative social impact it has on the children with regard to their isolation.
All right, Prof. Skuman, unfortunately, I'm completely out of time. I would have wanted us to talk about how we mitigate this particular situation, but we've started the conversation, and it's a conversation worth having over and over again there. That is Professor Renata Skuman weighing in on the situation around